can good and bad exist without a God or Satan?
Okay. How's it going?
Hey, good. Sorry I missed your call. I stepped away for like 2 minutes to use the restroom, and that happens to be the time you called.
That's all right. That's what Elder McKnight's doing right now. He is using the restroom, so we'll just wait for him to get back real quick.
All right, cool.
How's your week been?
It was a good week. I can't really complain too much. My boss was on vacation the majority of the week, so I kind of had a easy workload for the week since he wasn't really there to give me stuff to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I can't really complain.
How's it going, Pierce?
Alder McKnight?
Doing good.
Awesome. How's your week been?
It's been a good week, I think. Yeah, we've had a lot of things with some church leaders and stuff. One of our leaders. It's been awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
I was just telling Wilbur Kennedy that my boss was off for the majority of the week, so I had a really light workload, so it was kind of nice. Almost like a mini vacation, except for I had to go to work.
That's pretty cool. That's nice.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Do you have any hobbies outside of making videos? Do you like sports or anything?
I don't do sports. I'd like to, but I don't know. I guess I just don't have any people to participate in the sports with me. So yeah, unfortunately,
it's a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah. I do sometimes work on some wood projects.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I do a lot of burnt wood. It's kind of like a Japanese thing where you burn the wood to preserve it, and then you can oil it, and it lasts a real long time. And I haven't been doing that recently, though, because a few months ago, I was cutting a piece of wood, and the saw slipped, and it got my finger real good.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a hand saw. It wasn't a power saw, so it wasn't too traumatic. But it ripped up my finger pretty good, and I've been kind of hesitant to get back on that horse, you know?
I feel you. That is fair. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? Do you have any hobbies?
I'm a soccer player at heart, so. And cool. We also have been learning the ukulele.
Awesome.
I don't.
You know, I've always wanted to learn how to try to play one of those little tiny ukuleles or something, and then try to play a heavy metal rock song on it. I want to see how that would sound.
That would be fun. Yeah, he'd be the man to teach you. He's really good. The uke is fun. I'm not really good. He's really good. I'm definitely not. It's a good time though. It's super fun.
Cool. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Have you guys thought about our conversation that we had at all?
Yeah, we actually both shared it with our parents, and so they watched the video and said it was really, really good. They enjoyed it a lot. So.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, we've definitely been thinking about it. We really enjoyed, putting our faith to the test, I guess, is what this is about. So it was interesting, and it made us think, and I liked it a lot.
Awesome. So if I were to venture and take a guess, remember that faith scale that I proposed? And I think Alder Kennedy, you were at 80%, Alder McKnight, you were at 85-90. Mm-hmm. If I venture to guess, I'd say you're probably still exactly where you were, at the same place you were last time.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this a lot, and I think that for me it kind of fluctuates by the day. Sometimes I'll have a greater appreciation for things around me, and I'll actually study and pay attention to how I feel, what I'm thinking. and also what I believe that God's trying to tell me. And so those days I feel like when I'm actually paying more attention, that my number's a little bit higher. So yeah, that's something I was thinking about actually. But yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm about the same. It's pretty consistent where I'm at right now, and I don't know. I don't know. I'd say I'm pretty much the same place.
Okay. Alrighty. I just like to ask that just to see if anything's changed. Just to see. When you were thinking about it and when you shared it with your parents, did you have any thoughts? Anything come to your mind like, wow, I should share that with Pierce or anything?
Well, it was interesting because my mom was thinking as well as she watched. She was like, well, she told me this, and in our discussion, she was like, yeah, at first my brain was like, yeah, 100%, I know that God is there. And then I guess like Elder McKnight and I shared our point of view, and she's like, well, that's a fair point. Like, we do need to have faith and stuff. So I think I might have changed her point of view a little bit, which was interesting for me because I didn't realize, where other people would be at, and I'm kind of realizing where I'm at every single day. So.
Wow, that's really interesting. So your mom was like definitely at 100%, and then maybe you knocked her down to like 99.9.
Maybe I don't even know if it was like a knockdown type of thing, but it was just like a new way of thinking for her. So
okay, that's awesome then.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just I appreciate it because, well, I mean, we do share our beliefs a lot as missionaries, but it's always nice to be able to focus on our like testimony personally, like our conversion to our beliefs. Usually we're focused on other people, like helping them increase their faith and stuff, but when we share personally about our experiences, it makes us think about them and remember them, and those feelings that we've had in the past come back, and so we get to re-strengthen our like memories of those things so that they can, the things that they caused us to believe just get supported, so when I received an answer to my prayer and I share that experience with someone, I remember what that was like, and therefore it strengthens my testimony, that specific thing again. So it was a really good experience. I liked it.
Okay. Sometimes when I'm at work and I have a very light workload and I'm doing something where I don't really have to concentrate on anything much, I'm just kind of going through the motions. And sometimes I'll watch or listen to, I won't really watch it, street epistemology videos. And I listened to a few of them today. And, what's his name? Anthony M. I forget how to pronounce his name. It's kind of it's a short last name, but it's hard for me to pronounce, so I'm not even going to attempt to. But anyway, he was talking to this woman, I believe, and he asked her a really, really interesting question. And I was thinking, I gotta ask Alder Kennedy and Alder McKnight this question, because it's a question that they're going to enjoy, I think, and I'm going to enjoy your response. So, what he was talking to her, and she was saying some of the things that you guys were saying. She said that she had a personal experience, that she prays, and that she feels that God is with her and helps her through her life. And she said that I think she was at the 100% mark. That's what she had said at the beginning. And Anthony asked her, would you prefer to just have that faith and just not really have any physical evidence? Or would you prefer to have the God? I don't remember what religion she was. I think it was some form of Christianity. Not really relevant. But whether she would prefer just to have the blind faith, or if she would prefer to have Jesus or God come down, like almost in like a physical form, where like you could actually see him and like hear him, perhaps. Would you prefer the faith, or would you prefer to actually have him like come down to you?
That's a really, really good question. Obviously, like, I don't think there's anything that could ever make me happier than to be able to see Jesus Christ and to have him appear to me and to be able to talk to him and see him and, I mean, I can't, like, that would be one of the most, I feel like that'd be the most incredible experience ever. But as far as if it was just for to help my belief, I mean, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to express faith, and it's not easy to go off of faith, and I don't go off of blind faith.
Sure.
I believe that, I really do 90% believe that there is a God because, for certain reasons that I shared last time, but it's a blessing to be able to have faith and to have to exercise faith because I get to show my Savior, Jesus Christ, my willingness to follow him without a perfect knowledge. And so in regards to how I would go living my life, I mean, obviously I would love to see Jesus Christ in person and I don't think anything would make me happier. But to be able to go through my life showing him my devotion to him by exercising faith is a huge blessing to me.
I understand.
I think for me, I'm in a similar situation. I would love to see Jesus Christ and our Heavenly Father and to be able to converse with them and just really confide in them my struggles, my weaknesses, ask them questions, and really get to know how I can be better as a person. I think that would be such an amazing experience. And I think it would be more for that purpose for me to know how I can better myself and better my future family and stuff like that, instead of, strengthening my faith and belief. Because I think at that point, obviously we would know 100%. But I also see the importance of faith, like Elder McKnight talked about. And I don't know, that's a really tough one. If I had to choose, I don't know. If I had to choose, I probably would choose to see God because I think that would be a wonderful experience. And that's something that I would cherish for forever. But I also see the importance of faith and how it really does change you, but it also helps you to help other people and to kind of have peace.
And if that were to happen, I take it that would bring you guys from like the 80 or 90 respectively, and that would kind of jump you up right to 100% probably.
Yeah.
Now, that's an experience that could jump you all the way to 100%. Is there an experience that could happen? Well, I guess not necessarily an experience, but anything that could happen that you could look, maybe perhaps analyze, and say, all right, that's going to bump me down because that isn't something that's consistent with what I would think a God would... something that would happen that would cause or be evidence for a God.
Well, so that's also a good question.
I need to look at my scripture because there's one that it's reminding me of, but I'll pull it up really fast.
Okay. Well, so if you mean like in something that would happen like in the world that I'm just like, why would God let something like this happen? Is that what you're asking?
Not necessarily. Not in the sense of like there's this natural disaster or something. I know that's an argument sometimes atheists use, and I'm not trying to debate or anything like that. I guess it's more of, what's the right word? Like a method that you're using. So, I'm assuming there's some sort of method. You said that, like when you pray, you get this personal experience where it's, you get you feel God's presence, or you feel like a positive feedback. I think that's the words I use, not yours. But is there anything that could happen, whether it's within that test that you do, which I'm calling it a test, but it's praying? Is there anything that could happen, even outside of that, whether within it, without it, outside of it? Is there anything that could happen that you could look to and say, if this were to happen, like obviously it's not happening because you do still have that, 90, 80%, whatever. Is there anything that could happen that would bring you down?
So I think any disbelief that comes from me is out of my own personal weakness and me focusing on the wrong things. There obviously, we believe that there's adversity in everything. There's an opposite to every good, and so there are forces there that are trying to pull us away from God, obviously, and it is very easy to get distracted by those things, and I think that if I get distracted, if I choose not to focus on Jesus Christ, then yeah, that is possible, but it's out of my own personal weakness and not of anything that is actual factual, like any truth that is missing or anything like that, because I believe that the truth is never going to change, and I know that the truth is there, and I've found it, and it wouldn't be, I don't believe that there is anything that could happen that could change that truth or change fact. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but if anything, it would be me and my pride getting in the way of me being open to my answers to my prayers or anything of that sort.
Okay.
And I think, kind of going off of Elder McKight before I share what I want to share, is that as we pray, I guess for me, something that would maybe bump my number down is something not happening. We pray in faith, expecting an answer, believing that we will receive an answer in some form, whether it be a feeling, a thought. We talked about other ways. But if I were to pray and nothing were to happen, then maybe I would, I'd be thinking, is this real? Is this actually what I believe? And then I'd kind of restructure. But from my personal experience, every time I've prayed, something has come as an answer. And I know that there is power in the prayer. But kind of shifting gears a little bit, there's a scripture in the Book of Mormon that we shared a little bit with you. Mm-hmm. And in this little part of the Book of Mormon, there's a prophet that is talking to an antichrist, which means this person that just doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. He's doing what he can to kind of attack other people's beliefs. Mm. And the prophet, his name is Alma, and this is what he says to this man named Korihor. He says, "And Alma said unto him, Thou hast had signs enough. Will ye tempt your God? Will ye say, Show unto me a sign, when ye have a testimony of all these thy brethren, and also all the holy prophets? The scriptures are laid before thee, yea, and all things denote there is a God, yea, even the earth, and all things that are upon the face of it, yea, and its motion, yea, and also all the planets which move in their regular form do witness that there is a supreme creator." And so I believe just what it said, that all things denote there is a God. And I look around me and see the beauty of the earth. I see the miracle that is humankind, and technology and all these things. And I believe that they all denote that there is a God, that he really did create this place for us. And I also know that the Book of Mormon is true, that these things are true, and that it really does, kind of like Elder McKnight was saying, that it does contain truths that we can test, kind of like you said, Pierce. So,
And just to also share really quickly, when our beliefs are based on a strong foundation, then it's a lot harder for our beliefs to be shaken. In the Bible, Jesus he shares a parable about a wise man and a foolish man, and the wise man built his house on a solid foundation, on a rock, and then the foolish man built his house on sand. And there was a huge storm, and there was flooding and wind and everything, and the foolish man's house it got washed away, and the wise man's house it stood firm. It still went through the storm. We all go through storms. We're all going to have trials in our lives, but if we build our beliefs or our conversion on a strong testimony, on a strong foundation, that foundation needs to be Jesus Christ and the scriptures. And when it is, then it's a lot harder for it to be shaken. And so I know that as long as I focus on Jesus Christ and on the things that I learned from the scriptures, that there's no way that my beliefs are going to be shaken or my number's going to drop down. We're going to have hard days, like Elder Kennedy said, where we're not as open to the Spirit, and so our number may, drop down a little bit just out of our own, silliness and whatnot. But I know that as long as we really are focused on Jesus Christ, that nothing's going to shake our testimony.
Okay. I think I got a good grasp on what you guys are saying. I want to back up actually a few steps. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to paraphrase this pretty good. It was what you said previous to Alder McKight. And you said that there's a good and there's a bad. And that personal weakness, it would, like if you lowered your number, that might be because of personal weakness. Mm-hmm. And I guess when you said good and bad, that intrigued me a little bit. Can maybe you can elaborate just a little bit on that before I ask my question?
Can I elaborate on that?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, I believe that God, He is the supreme creator. He is above everything. He's in control. He's all-knowing, and He is and all good originates from God and from Jesus Christ. So everything that is good comes from Jesus Christ. And there is another force, and that's Satan, and he has power as well, and he wants us to be sad, depressed. He wants us to hate our lives. He wants us to be miserable just like he is. And so he knows that true happiness comes from when we build our faith in Jesus Christ. And so he's going to do everything that he can to take us away from Jesus Christ, so that we don't have that joy that comes from it. And so that's kind of what I meant by when we allow our human nature, or like the natural man is what we say, our human nature is to not believe, and to focus on the negative things. When we let that happen, that's kind of when we can drift away from Jesus Christ a little bit.
I'm going to ask one heck of a hypothetical, and it's a pretty, for you guys, I think it's going to be a pretty wild hypothetical, but I'm gonna ask it, and it's okay if you don't have an answer. But this hypothetical, it's assuming that God does not exist, and assuming that Satan does not exist. I know, it's a crazy hypothetical right here, but if there is no higher power or lower power, if there is no higher power, do you think that good and bad could exist?
Yes, I do. I think with or without a God, you can still be a good person or a bad person, a person that focuses on helping other people and, helping other people be happy and focusing on other people. And then you can still be a bad person and do bad things to other people that, hurt their lives and hurt your own life. So I think that there's good and bad no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. I think kind of what Elder McKnight
Uh-oh.
There we go. Are we back? Did we lose you?
Yeah, some technical difficulties there. One of us lost connection. Who knows who?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I didn't hear anything that you said, Alder Kennedy. Right when you started to talk, it cut out.
Okay. Remind me of the question so I can retrace my train of thought.
I was asking, can good and bad exist without a God or Satan?
Okay. I believe that it can. Alder McKight touched on it as well, that we believe that the natural man is an enemy to God. We believe that our natural inclination is to fulfill, appetites and things that maybe aren't as righteous as other decisions or other actions might be. And so whether or not, God was there, I believe that the natural man would kind of take over in that instance. And there could be good and evil still. We could still be able to choose. And yeah.
And also, just to clarify, we still believe that there's good people that don't believe in God. There's bad people that do believe in God. It's just what people choose to do with that belief, whether they believe that there is no God, I can do whatever I want, and no consequences, or there's no God, but I'm still going to be a good person whether or not there is. So,
yeah, I know you can't see me, but I was virtually giving you a fist bump. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, totally. I guess my next question would be that you said before that kind of the reason, or at least one of the multiple reasons that you wouldn't lower your confidence in a God was because of God and Satan, God creating good things that happen and Satan creating bad things. If there can be both good and bad without those, is that a good reason to keep your confidence level where it is?
So, sorry, can you repeat that question a little bit?
Sorry, we kind of went down this kind of rabbit hole.
That's okay.
What were we... I gotta kind of backtrack to see what question I asked previously. I had asked... I don't even know anymore. I kind of lost the train of our conversation. I think I'd asked what would lower your confidence level, and
yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't matter. We can move on from that point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. This is my fault. I should have been more on top of this. I had one more thing about what you had said that had caught my attention. It was keeping an open mind, I think you had said. Or I might be paraphrasing a little bit. But this was quite a bit ago at this point. It was when you were talking about good and bad the initial time. And then you had mentioned having an open mind and how you said that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying something that is not of your position or what you said, feel free to correct me. But I think what you meant was you needed to have an open mind to continue to believe and not have personal weakness, I think you said. And I don't know, it just kind of intrigued me a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess I could make myself a little more clear on what I meant by that. So I'm not saying that anyone that has had a belief in God and now doesn't is weak by any means.
Oh, no, I didn't think that either.
Okay, sweet.
No.
But the thing is, it's hard to act on faith.
Like, it's a difficult thing. That's why it's faith, right? We don't have a sure knowledge of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes diligence and strength and courage to act on faith. I'm here as a missionary. I'm sacrificing 2 years of my regular life just to serve God and to help other people believe in God and come closer to Him. And I don't have a perfect knowledge of anything. So I'm doing this on faith. It's not blind faith. I have things that support my beliefs, but it's not easy. Like, it would be easier if God knocked on my door and said, I need you to go do this for 2 years for me. That would be a lot easier, right? And so I guess the reason I said weakness is because it takes a mental strength to act on faith and to show God you're willing to sacrifice things based on faith in Him, and our faith that we are doing what He wants us to do. And yeah. So I guess that's probably what I meant. Did that make it a little clearer?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to comment on the fact that you're a missionary and you're giving 2 years of your life for that. I just want to say that you must be pretty confident, and you have said you are, 85 to 90% confidence that exists. So you must have that real confidence, and the faith must be really strong. Otherwise, you likely wouldn't be doing such, I would assume.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Elder Kennedy, we're going back pretty far in the conversation here, so hopefully you got a good memory. I did write down a couple words here about what he had said, and it wasn't the last time, it was like the previous time. You had said that something that could, I guess, knock you down on that scale to lower you from 80% to a lower number would be as when you prayed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misrepresenting you. If you pray and then you don't receive any type of feeling or thought, that would lower you on your scale. Am I correctly paraphrasing?
I think pretty close. Yeah, I mean, I expect and believe that God will answer prayers in some way. And those are just a couple examples. I believe there's other ways, but yeah, that is pretty much what I said.
I know I got another hypothetical question, and I guess this is under the assumption, so it's kind of the reverse, assuming that a God doesn't exist. Do you think that human beings, after they prayed, do you think they would always have some sort of feeling or thought, just human beings being who they are and how we work and operate?
This is a hypothetical if God did not exist?
I guess he could exist in this hypothetical. It's more of a situational question. Let me rephrase it. Let me try over on this question. Like, human beings are obviously really emotional creatures, and we have all these thoughts and emotions constantly in our bodies. Our hormones are, going crazy, especially when we're teenagers, But do you think it's possible that a human being could pray to a higher power, and no matter what, whether there is or whether there is not a higher power, that you'll always have some sort of thought or some sort of feeling regardless?
I think in the way that God answers prayers and how He has answered my prayers, I don't think that it would come the same way if there wasn't a God. Like, if someone was to pray, those feelings are unique, in my opinion. And I feel that those who do pray will know that they receive an answer from God. That being said, I do know that prayer is a very calming experience, a very kind of meditative and relaxing experience for people. And so I do believe that there are feelings that can come because people do meditate all the time. They do similar actions with similar results. But I believe that those confirmations from God are a little bit different, and people will know that it is Him if He is to give an answer.
Okay. One last thing that caught my attention when you were speaking was you said like the beauty of, I don't remember your specific examples, but I think you said beauty of the world, perhaps like, natural landscape perhaps you meant, or is that what you were going for?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to throw out another hypothetical question, because I love hypothetical questions. You guys know that. If there was no God, do you think that things could still be beautiful? The world, mountains, prairies, oceans?
I don't know, this one's difficult because I have a bias, I guess, to like where we are now. Hypotheticals are difficult to answer in that way, but I'm imagining, I don't know. That's a difficult question. I'm trying to think about, I don't know.
I mean, I think like beauty is beauty. But this just goes back to the thing I said earlier, that all good things come from God, and God He knows us perfectly. He knows each and every one of us perfectly, and He created this world for us, and He knew that we were going to be in certain places at certain times, and things were going to look certain ways, and there have just been times where I've been in, like the middle of the mountains somewhere, and I felt like this view that I'm looking at was created just for me. Like it's a spiritual experience, and I think, I mean, if you're saying like the world would look the exact same way, and there was no God, it's hard for me to answer that, because I believe that they are a specific way because there's a God.
Yeah. That's exactly, he put my feelings into words, and I look around me and see all these things, and ultimately it leads me to ask the question, where did it come from? Why is it here, and there being a God helps me to answer those questions and seek after those kind of answers for kind of the purpose of all these things, and so that's why it's difficult for me to answer a hypothetical question like that, because in a situation where I would see that kind of beauty, see this awe-inspiring image in front of me, it would lead me to ask myself, where did it come from? Why is it here? And questions similar to that.
Okay, yeah. I think I got a good understanding of where you're coming from, and yeah. All right.
How do you feel about nature, Pierce?
How do I feel about nature? I think it's awesome. I went to, have you ever heard of, there's all these minerals that get deposited and drained down. So like the iron is orange, and I don't even remember what the other ones are, but all these minerals come down, and it kind of almost paints pictures. It almost looks like a painting that some artist would do on a canvas, and it all drains down. And I went up there over the summer, and it was pretty cool to look at. So it's just kind of amazing how, nobody did that. It's just a natural thing that happened, whether or not it was a God or just happened to be just waves doing their thing, you know what I mean? And either way, really cool to look at.
Yeah, see, that just strengthens my belief that, there are these little things that are put on this earth that just make, it's like, why is that there? Like, why is that doing that? But I know that, like, it's there for a reason. I'm sure that many people have watched that and just sat in awe, and it's just brought them so much happiness just to see something so beautiful. And I know that it's there for a reason,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's really cool. I hope to see that one day. I'll have to write that down.
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome little town. Yeah, it's real tiny. It's just kind of a little tourist area. Everybody who works there is just a local guy who lives in their little neighborhood, and yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I have many more questions. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah. I have a couple. I wrote a couple questions down at home that I wanted to ask, and they were so deep. I swear they were the deepest questions. But I kind of just, I guess I'll ask a very simple question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that we are all here on Earth right now? Like, why do you believe that we're here, or why do you believe that you're here?
Mm-hmm. That is a deep question. That is a really deep question. I don't know that even myself that I'm qualified to answer that question. And I don't know that there even is a reason. Perhaps there is no reason at all. And even if there isn't a reason, it doesn't make me sad. It doesn't depress me. It doesn't make me think, why bother even trying, It's not like that. It's just like, I don't know what the reason is, but I'm going to go through my life. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to try to do good. Try to be the best Pierce that I can be, right? And then when it's over, if it's just over at that point, I won't be thinking at that point, but I'll just be like, well, did my best. Had fun. Is what it is. If there is something after that, that's just a bonus. That's cool.
I think that's great. I think it's important to live your life one day at a time and just make sure that you make the most of it in that day, doing the best that you can.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that when I came to understand my purpose here, it changed my whole outlook on life. And I was, like I told you before, I was kind of like, just a type of agnostic. I just didn't really think about it. I didn't really care too much about whether or not there was a God, and I lived my life just one day at a time. I had a vague, goal of where I wanted to be in 10, 20 years. And I knew that I just needed to do little things each day, and I was just going to do my best living day by day. And I was at peace with that. And I didn't know that there was more peace to be had, because I had a certain amount of knowledge of why I was here on Earth at that time. And the more knowledge that I gained about why I was here, the more I recognized that I could have more purpose. And I could become more of a person. I could be more personal, and I could understand who I am a lot more. And I could experience more joy because my purpose was more focused on my goals, and I recognized that I was here for more than to just experience or just to be. And I don't think there's anything wrong with where you're at or where I was at, but I do know that I have so much more purpose in my life, and I have so much more joy and peace because I know why I'm here, and I just think that everyone deserves to have that peace. But what I said before about how I didn't understand that I could experience more peace and more joy because I didn't have as much knowledge, I know that that's true, and I know that a lot of people feel good about where they're at because they don't know that there's more joy to be had, really.
I kind of have a follow-up question from what Elder McKnight asked.
Sure.
And I want to ask, do you believe, Pierce, that you can find purpose as you live your life and kind of go about every day?
That's so awesome that you asked that question, because as Alder McKnight was speaking, I was thinking, not of that question per se, but thinking along those lines. As you were speaking, Alder McKnight, it kind of sparked something in my mind a little bit. And it was yesterday. So yesterday I had a call with some other missionaries, and the call went great. But after the call, I decided to jump onto just this random, a couple of them, I got several of them, Discord channels. Are you kind of familiar with what Discord is a little bit?
Not really.
I'm
if
not.
you think back in the days, like the AOL chat rooms. It's kind of like that, but they also have like voice channels where you can, actually talk vocally. So I was jumping in a few of those, and the first one I jumped into, it was terrible. There was all this awful things being said, like really homophobic language, racist language. And I just was like, okay, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to be here. And then I went on to the next one, and it was a little bit more mild. And I started talking to people. And I talked to this one gentleman, and he was at first using some of that language again. And as I began to talk to him, he stopped using it. And then I finally ended up telling him that do you want to do some street epistemology? And he's like, well, what the heck is that? And I explained it to him and talked to him. And as we talked, I think I actually got through to him a little bit. I think that maybe I'm completely wrong. But, and I'm not going to post that one because I didn't ask for his permission, because I probably should do that. I'd feel bad if, I put him on the internet and, he doesn't want to be there. But
yeah.
I just felt like I made a difference. And then I actually posted one this morning that I had talked to right after that, and I talked to this girl, and I think I made a difference with her too. And maybe this is my purpose. Maybe it comes from a higher power, maybe it doesn't. Just talking to people, helping them think critically, helping them be better people, think critically about their beliefs, and maybe that is. I don't know. But I know talking to that one person who was using all that awful language and possibly breaking through to him, that's one thing that I'm really proud of, and I'd do it again. I'd do it 100 times, and I was thinking about that today while I was at work, and I was just like, yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy about that. Maybe I made a difference, not only in his life, but the way he treats others and in their lives. And, maybe it'll just be a domino effect. If he has children, he'll teach them not to use that language, and,
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the focus outside of yourself, and I think that's something that's so cool that I've noticed as missionaries, but even just when I've been in opportunities where I get to just help other people out. It could be, moving furniture. We got to do that today. We helped some people move some stuff out of a storage bin. It could be, making cookies for a neighbor or whatever. As I've looked outside of myself, I know that my joy has increased. I know that I've found more purpose in my life helping other people. And our purpose as missionaries is to invite others to come unto Jesus Christ. And what that really means for us is that we are looking outside of ourselves to help people, to allow them and give them a chance to better their lives, to have steadiness, to exercise faith, and to find their purpose in life. And I think that's why it's so neat to experience things like this with you, even where we can, discuss things like this, because we believe that we are just in the service of other people. And that's what I have seriously just loved about being a missionary, but also just being a member of our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because that is the focus. It's helping others. It's giving them a sense of belief, a sense of belonging, a community where they can feel love, and know that God loves them, because that's our number one belief, is that they have a Father in heaven who loves them. And so for me personally, my life calling is to share that love however possible with people.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think we can both agree that finding your purpose or finding joy in your life, there's really no right or wrong way to do that. But if you find that, then, hold on to that. That's such an awesome thing.
For sure.
Yeah, has there been anything, as we kind of discussed, that's really stood out to you about, us personally, or, our beliefs compared to other people that you've talked to?
That's a good question. Maybe not necessarily your beliefs, per se, but your attitudes are a little bit different. There was some missionaries from LDS that I did talk to, and that's a video that I'm not posting. Just because I felt that their attitudes were, I don't want to badmouth them in any way, because I was so gracious to talk to them, and but they took, and maybe it was my fault. Maybe I maybe asked questions in a little bit too bold of a manner, perhaps. But I felt like their attitude towards the questions I was asking was rather negative, possibly on the verge of condescending. Maybe I'm taking a lot of visual cues too. Maybe I was reading those wrong. I'll admit that maybe I'm mistaken. But in contrast to them, your attitudes are just like a rainbow, So not to say that they were like angry or anything, because that's definitely not the case. I don't want to misrepresent them, but I don't know. You guys are just so full. Did you lag?
Sorry, we lost you for a second.
I guess I was just saying that that your attitudes are just like this rainbow of joy and happiness, and it's just, that's awesome. I know that didn't directly answer your question, but
no, that's totally fair. Thank you for that compliment. I'm very happy that we come off that way. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking time out of your day too to talk with us. I know that work can be busy, and it's just cool that we get to meet people, and I feel like we all better each other in just talking and discussing. So
yeah, it's really awesome. And I want to try to talk to as many different people as I can. And I guess if you know anyone who you think would be like, wow, that person would really be awesome talking to Pierce, feel free to send them my way if you happen to know anybody.
I think same goes for you, for us. Do you know of anyone that would be interested in like a discussion similar to what we've had with you in the past?
Other missionaries, perhaps, if that's something. I guess it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't think so. But I'll keep that in mind for sure.
Would you be down to read another chapter in the Book of Mormon?
Sure.
Okay. You have to promise that you're going to do it, because this is my favorite chapter.
Okay. I promise.
Okay. Do you have your Book of Mormon near?
It is in my room, and I'm not in my room. I can go get it.
Okay. It's okay. You can write down the page number.
Sure.
It's on page 521.
All right.
Sweet. Yeah, it's Moroni chapter 7. So it's a rather long one. It's about 4 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess not that long. It's not too bad. Yeah,
for scripture.
Compared to schooling and stuff, that's like nothing. But yeah, no, this is just my favorite chapter, easily. It teaches us just, it talks about some of the stuff that we talked about where joy comes from, where good comes from, and why we need to be focused outwardly instead of inwardly. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful chapter of scripture. So,
yeah, so we'll definitely invite you to read that and pray about it. And I can promise you from my experience, this is one of my favorite chapters as well. I think it's awesome that Elder McKnight brought it up. But I can promise you that you'll feel that peace and the joy that is taught from these scriptures and from this prophet in the Book of Mormon. And it's wonderful things that we can apply into our lives and see the fruits of those things. That's something I always love. And I think we've talked a little bit how I'm very logically kind of scientific minded. And when I can see something work and see something that I test and that I try come to fruition and come to be what it really is, then it really helps me and it solidifies my knowledge and my faith. So I can promise that it'll do the same for you.
Okay. Well, I will read it for certain.
Sweet. All right. Should we let you go?
Yeah. I don't think I have any more questions, and as long as you guys don't have any more, I think we should call it a good call.
Sounds good. Alrighty.
Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you too. That was awesome.
Okay. Well, we'll set up a time to talk again soon, hopefully.
Yeah. And let us know if there's anything that we can do for you. We'd love to help out if you need anything. I know we're kind of far away probably. We don't really know, but if there's anything that we can help out with, or even, missionaries wherever you are could help out with, just let us know.
Just out of curiosity, where are you guys right now? Oh, okay. Yeah, that is pretty far.
Yeah.
Another country, so yeah, that's...
Yeah. We're both from the States, though.
Okay.
This is just where we're serving our mission.
Mm. Where are you from, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I grew up all over the western side of the United States. So I was born in Utah, and then I moved to California, and then to Washington, and then to Arizona, and then back to Utah. So
wow.
I live in Utah right now.
Yeah, and I'm from Utah. I lived in the east side of the United States for a little bit in Ohio, but I moved back to Utah after that, so that's where I've been stationed.
Cool.
Yep.
Just curious.
Yeah,
no worries.
I love the United States. Well, I love Canada too. Canada's really cool.
Yeah, actually, a good place to be. Beautiful for sure.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I hear it's beautiful, and hockey. That sounds cool.
Yeah, a lot of people like it here. That's for sure.
You gotta look up poutine. That's the real gold. Is some poutine.
How do you spell that?
Poutine.
I'm gonna look that up. That's intriguing me.
My God, look it up. It's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk again soon.
Yep. See you guys. Take care.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.